7.2, we're still going to work with those two formulas, and we're just going to work where you need to find P or I or N instead of finding A, so when it's not straightforward. So with each of these I have to tell you whether it's compound interest or simple interest. So we're just going to use examples. So in the first one, let's say it is compound interest, and I want 4,200 Rand in 5 years' time, and the interest rate is 8% per annum. I want to know how much must I invest now. So it's your compound interest formula, and you substitute everything that you do know. The P is the only one I don't know. You can write 8%, or you can change it to a decimal by doing 8 over 100. If you do 8%, if your calculator is fine with that, that's no problem. To the power of 5. Right, you can work out what you can. In other words, this whole bracket to the power of 5 can be calculated. Now notice it's going to give you a very long number. So if I put dots like that, it means I've actually kept the number, the full number, on my calculator, and I'm just showing a few of them. Now all I do is if I want the P alone, I divide both sides by that value. So P equals, now there's a few things we have to look here. First of all, you have to always round to 2 decimals. Round correctly. And the other thing is you must put in your currency sign. Show your currency. Okay, question 2. We're going to say initially I invested, I'm going to put a little line down here so we've got space for number 3 as well. I invested 2,000, I didn't put the units in here, shall we say, I'm just going to put the word Rand in. And at the end of my time, I had 2,860 Rand. And that was at the end of 18 months. And I want to know what was the interest rate. And this question was simple interest. First thing, 18 months is 18 over 12 years, which is 1.5 years, because we need it in years. Give your general formula, write out your formula, because it's simple interest, it's not to the power. Fill in your numbers. Those that I know. I don't know the I, so I have 1 plus 1.5i. Right, notice that if your money is getting more, if you're getting interest on it, this final amount must be bigger than my principal amount. Another thing, if you have an equation like this and you have both of these values, then divide both sides by the right hand, by the value in front of the bracket. That way you get rid of the value in front of the bracket. Right, this one, it simplifies nicely. Now you can drop your bracket here. Remember, I can't add the 1 plus 1.5i. I can't make it 2.5i because they're not like terms. So this is an I and this is just a 1. So if I want the interest alone, just take the 1 to that side. So I'm going to subtract it. Can you see why you need to know your algebra? And now I'm going to divide both sides by 1.5 and you will end up with some other answer like this, but that's not your final answer. You want to get it to percentage. And remember your rule then was multiply by 100. So if you multiply by 100, for percentage, it's fine if you just give the answer to 1 decimal. In certain circumstances, we want more than 1 decimal. Right, let's do one more example. And I'm going to say my principal amount was $1,570. My interest rate was 12% per year. And I want $23,000. And my question is, for how long must I invest that money to end up there? So again, fill in what you know in your formula. Oh, this one was also compound interest. Is 1,570. 1 plus I to the power of n. So again, divide both sides by the 1,570. And sometimes it's actually, if your calculator leaves it in a fraction form, it's actually better to just leave it in the fraction form, but that's more accurate. Unless you're going to keep the number on your calculator. Here we can add these numbers inside. And now we're at that stage. What do we want? We want the n, which is the exponent. If I want the exponent, how do I get the exponent on the ground? I must take logs. Can you remember your rule? The little one kicked the other one up, so the 1.12 was the little one. So I've got to write the word log, bring this one down back to be the little one, then this one is my number, and now the n can slide back down. Right. What you get is, and now you can round this because it's years, but remember this is yearly interest, so this is almost 24 years, and actually you're only going to get your interest at the end of 24 years, so we would answer this. The curly just says I've rounded it, and it would take 24 years.